President Trump credited himself for the strong economy in 2024 when Joe Biden was president, but then he blamed President Biden for a weak economy in 2025 when he was president. Now, I'm not so sure how the American people puts that together. In 2024, strong economy, he tries to take the credit. In 2025, when he's the president, he blames Joe Biden. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to most Americans. And I hope, Mr. Secretary, you're a businessman, it doesn't make sense to you either.
Gregory Meeks didn't just show up to this hearing. He came armed with facts, logic, and a healthy dose of common sense. In under 5 minutes, he ripped apart Donald Trump's so-called trade emergency narrative and exposed it for what it really is, a power grab dressed up as economic policy. And trust me, once you see how Meeks connected the dots, you'll understand why this hearing hit so hard.
Mr. Bassett, I'm just a plain, simple man, the average, everyday American is looking at this hearing today. So can you tell me, first, does trade deficits constitute a national emergency?
The hollowing out of the U.S. manufacturing
No, just yes or no.
class.
Yes or no? Yes or no,
It's a
sir?
national emergency, sir.
It does. It does. You're telling me trade deficits equals a national or creates?
Persistent and prolonged.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And do you know also, sir, that for the last 4 decades, we've had trade deficits in the United States of America, and nobody said it was an emergency? Democratic and Republican presidents? You know what that says to me? That it's not an emergency because it hasn't been for 4 decades. It says to me that we should bring tariffs back to the United States Congress so that we can make that determination as the Constitution has said and not try to go around Congress. That's just unbelievable to me. Let me ask this question. Maybe they missed it. Who was the president, and who has been the president since January 20th, 2025?
Donald J. Trump.
Okay. And who was the president in 2024?
One believes President Biden.
One believes? You one of those non-believers that the election, the American people didn't vote?
I am not.
You're not? You said one believes? Do you believe in the Constitution of the United States and it should be abided by?
I believe in the Constitution of the United States.
So you believe in it without any second thought. You don't have to think about it. You believe in it and you would abide by it. Is that correct?
I have and I do, sir.
Okay. But do you know that a president has said he may or may not, he don't know? Let me ask this question. I couldn't believe my ears. Sunday, during NBC's Meet the Press, President Trump credited himself for the strong economy in 2024 when Joe Biden was president, but then he blamed President Biden for a weak economy in 2025 when he was president. Now, I'm not so sure how the American people puts that together. In 2024, strong economy, he tries to take the credit. In 2025, when he's the president, he blames Joe Biden. That doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to most Americans. And I hope, Mr. Secretary, you're a businessman, it doesn't make sense to you either. It can't possibly make sense to you. Let me ask this question. If a government, say, look, Argentina, I remember when I came here, and Argentina kept failing to pay its debt. Not once or twice or three times. And we were all upset about it, and we said that they needed somebody needed to take over their government. Somebody should help the president of Argentina. If the United States didn't pay its debt or something like that, we'd be very upset about that if we couldn't pay our debt. I mean, that's one of our focuses. Is that not correct?
Sir, the United States will always meet its debt obligations.
Always. Well, let me ask you this. Donald Trump, the deal maker, and you didn't answer Ms. Velasquez's questions, no deals, although he said 3 weeks ago that there would be deals. But Donald Trump, not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times, not 5 times, but 6 times failed to pay his debts on his business and went bankrupt. And you're going to call that a good businessman?
The gentleman's time has expired.
company.
The gentleman's time has expired. The gentlewoman from Missouri, Ms. Wagner, the chair of our subcommittee on capital markets, is recognized for 5 minutes.
I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I will try to keep my...
Right out of the gate, Meeks pressed Trump's trade ambassador with a simple question. Does a trade deficit automatically equal a national emergency? The answer? Yes, according to Trump's guy. But here's where Meeks dropped the hammer. The United States has run trade deficits for 4 decades under presidents from both parties, and no one Democrat or Republican called it a national emergency. Why does that matter? Because labeling something an emergency isn't just semantics. It's a legal shortcut that lets presidents sidestep Congress and impose tariffs on their own. The Constitution gives Congress the power over tariffs. Trump wants to pull that power into the Oval Office. Meeks then called out Trump's political spin in 2024. When Joe Biden was president, Trump bragged that the economy was strong and took the credit himself. But in 2025, after Trump took office, suddenly the economy was weak and it was all Biden's fault. That's not just hypocrisy, it's an insult to Americans' intelligence. Economic trends don't flip overnight. If you claim credit for growth under someone else and dodge blame for a slowdown under your watch, you're not leading, you're gaslighting. And Meeks wasn't done. He brought up Trump's track record as a businessman, 6 bankruptcies. 6. If any other CEO had that history, would you trust them with your investment? Yet this is the guy pushing a risky tariff plan that economists warn could raise prices for consumers and slow job growth. Here's the reality. Tariffs are taxes. They're collected at the border, paid by importers, and passed down to you, the consumer, and to manufacturers who need those parts to keep factories running. Those higher costs ripple through the supply chain, hitting workers and families first. Democrats like Meeks aren't against protecting American jobs. But there's a right way to do it. Narrow, targeted tariffs tied to clear security concerns, combined with real domestic investment in skills, infrastructure, clean energy, and modern manufacturing. That's how you strengthen America without taxing working families into the ground. Gregory Meeks just showed what it looks like when Congress stands up to executive overreach and demands real answers. The question now is whether the rest of Congress will take back the power the Constitution gave them or keep letting Trump play fast and loose with the rules. If you think Congress should hold the line and stop this emergency power grab, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next breakdown. And drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Trump's tariff plan is worth the price you'll pay at the checkout counter?